On tonight's edition of The Overtime, we hit the gridiron to talk about Flagstaff football. Plus, we head to the other side of town to talk about Coconino football. And lastly, we talk about NAU football and their turnaround season. The Overtime starts right now. Thank you for joining us and welcome to this edition of The Overtime, Northern Arizona's only sports show. I'm your host, Mitchell McKenzie. We got a big show tonight and it's all about football. And joining me to talk about it all is my co-host, Kade Gilliss. Kade, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing awesome. We get to talk all football here. I'm excited. I'm ready to go.
Well, so am I. So let's talk about Flagstaff football. The Eagles are having a mediocre season with 3 wins and 3 losses under their belt. Some key things to think about, Kade, are that the Eagles are 3-1 at home but have 0 wins on my road. So here's my question to propose here, is what are the Eagles doing so well this season to produce those wins and to even back that point up? Let's talk about what can those Eagles do to make a playoff push. They've only got 4 games left in the regular season.
Oh, yeah, Mitch, I mean, for me, it's pretty simple. If you take a look at the Eagles, 3-1 record at home. They should be sitting at 4-0. They took an absolutely brutal loss against Mojave 2 weeks ago after having not 1, not 2, but 3 long touchdown runs called back for penalties, which ultimately led to a 1-point loss in the Skydome. If they are to be successful, they can't keep shooting themselves in the foot, Mitch. It's hard enough to beat other good teams. It only gets harder when you can't get out of your own way. Currently sitting at 1-2 in section play, the Eagles need to play some disciplined football if they want to see any semblance of the playoffs, Mitch.
Oh yeah, Kade, this Eagles team should have beaten Mojave, but like you said, those penalties caused the loss. The Eagles play an away game this week against the Lee William Volunteers. Best of luck to the Eagles as they close out their season. Moving on, let's talk about Coconino Panthers football. This is so crazy about this Panthers being undefeated with 6 wins. Their 3rd game of the season, they blew out their Cortez Colts with a final score of 77-12. Their game last week was just insane as they only scored 7 points in the first half against Prescott, but then they came out of the half and scored 27 points in the second half to win 34-27. So, Kade, what are the Panthers doing this season to be this good? And with 4 games left, how can they possibly keep their eyes in sight of a 4A state playoff run?
I mean, I got 3 words for you, Mitch. Keep it physical. Coconino is excelling in a multitude of areas, but keeping it in the hands of star junior running back Zach Bennett is the clear key to success for the Panthers. Nearly 1,000 yards rushing and 17 touchdowns with just 7.4 yards per carry. Mitch, I have to remind people out there, it's only been 6 weeks. Keep it on the ground. Keep the defense fresh on the sidelines, dominate ball control, and give Bennett the ball. It's as simple as that, Mitch.
Kade, I looked at that 4A state rankings this past week, and the Panthers sit number 11. I'm a little shocked by that myself, but I can see this team going far into the playoffs if they continue to play their best game out on the field. The Panthers will try to keep their undefeated record intact as they face the Mojave Thunderbirds. Best of luck to the Coconino Panthers on their excellent season thus far. Well, lastly, Kade, let's talk about our final topic and discuss NAU football. What a season it's been for the Jacks. 3 wins, 3 losses. But one thing you can say about this team is that they are undefeated at home under new head coach Chris Ball. This team looks so much better and so much stronger than in previous years. Not just that, records have been broken this season. Senior quarterback Case Cookis has passed the 10,000 passing yard mark in his career. Joe Logan passed 2,000 rushing yards in his career. And lastly, kicker Luis Aguilar booted a 57-yard field goal last week to set a new career high. So, Kade, let's talk about this a little bit. What is this Lumberjack team doing so good to stay undefeated at home? And they've only got 6 games left in the regular season. What do they have to do to keep their record very well?
Well, Mitch, when you think NAU football, you automatically look at the offense, and this year is no exception. I mean, surprise, surprise, Case Cookis is dominating even after the departure of star receiver Emmanuel Butler, who's currently with the New Orleans Saints practice squad. Freshman receiver Hendricks Johnson has become one of Cookis' new favorite targets and is top 10 in both receptions and yards in the Big Sky Conference. Thankfully, it looks like the Lumberjacks got their second half groove back after scoring just 3 second half points in 2 straight games, as Cook has dropped 4 touchdowns in the second half alone against Northern Colorado this past weekend. Cook has told me that before. It was just the little things that just weren't coming together, that weren't clicking, that led to struggles late in games. They seem to have tightened those loose ends up, though, Mitch.
This offense, Kade, has just been spectacular. The Lumberjacks are on a bye week this week, as they are going to be preparing for Weber State. Best of luck to the Lumberjacks.